Hi, this is DragonflySara. Welcome back to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter with DragonflySara, and we are still on Hogsmeade Village series, part 5, Honeyduke's command blocks. We are going to be doing the floating entities today for the command blocks, and without any further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. So, welcome to Honeyduke's. This is the refrigerating section for the no-melt ice cream. I figured it still needed to be cold, and we'll be putting that in the next video. The packed ice will not melt. Then if we go around the back, we can see that the upstairs has this cute chandelier. I thought the cobwebs made a fascinating light fixture. Fireplace in the corner. And a balcony that will be overlooking the 3 broomsticks. Nice big living space upstairs. And downstairs would be the cellar. I've already decorated the cellar. You can see that I've got all the boxes and the storage containers for the extra. We have a freezer for the ice cream made with the packed ice. 10 different varieties of ice cream will be stored down here. And the lighting mostly in the basement is the sea lanterns, occasionally covered by the brown carpet. The light passes through the carpet, but then you don't see the source. I'd like to point out that if you put a button in this location, it actually will dispense the sundae and the banana split sundae that are on either side of it. See banana split sundae over there and sundae over there. And so this is a working storage room. You just have to add the buttons. That works for not only the ice cream, but here you see you have gingerbread houses and jars of gumballs. And if you take out a block so that you have room to put a button, and you can put buttons in, and the buttons dispense the gingerbread houses and the jars of gumballs. Okay. Gingerbread house, jar of gumballs. And of course they're sitting next to the storage location so that you know what it is you're getting. Now, this corner right here is what we're going to be working on today. You'll notice there are 4 command blocks here. Sea lanterns are lighting above and below. And it is a cluttered shop, so in the back we have the s'mores. Those are Birdie Bot's Every Flavor beans. We'll be going over the custom heads next video, showing you how I got all of this stuff out here. And then, of course, this floor area right here is where Harry is going to come up through the trapdoor from Hogwarts. And we'll be adding that when we add the castle. So here's your command console. The first block is going to be the kill. So, to get the coordinates for the kill, we're actually going to go up to the block that it represents. So, that's in the far corner. So we'll go up here to the farthest corner shot. And if I stand here and hit F3, you'll see that the X, Y, Z coordinates are given in the top corner here. X at 29.32, Y at 88, and 1742 is my Z coordinate. So we want 28, 88, and 14 87 and 1742. And if we're facing this way, we'll notice that we're facing toward positive z, so all the boxes are going to go from 42 to 43, etc. Just verifying that pattern as I walked through the room. So, our first kill command, I've already set up the appropriate numbers, and we can't test it until we have an object up there. So the next thing we need to do is place a minecart to hold the object in place. This is the command for the minecart, and I'll be going through it more slowly in a cutscene here in just a second. I'll go through all of these commands. Now, we do want that block to be set as a chain and always active. This way, when you hit the button, the first one going off means that the second one will go off. So you see there, we dropped a minecart. The minecart has the block of glass in it that we can go up and see. And the block of glass is at a specific offset from the minecart. So this block of glass is what's going to hold our items, our item entities. And make sure that they don't end up on the floor or behind the window or wherever freaking else they would wander off to when they spawn. There doesn't appear to be any sort of pattern as to where they end up. If you don't have that block, they will end up everywhere. So we don't have a way to kill the minecart yet, so we have to do it manually. Now the next block we want is the one on the back. So we have to go around to the back and activate that block. This code we will also be going through with the cut screen. The relative positions, that's what the tilde means, is a relative position. So we're just making sure with the F3 again, it says we're facing toward negative X, not positive X. So we want to change that one digit there to be a negative X rather than a positive X. This could be changed. We can change feather for whatever else we want to summon. But right now we're going to summon sugar quills. Again, chain and always active is required. And now if we hit the button, drops the minecart. And notice the bottom of the screen says 2 objects were successfully summoned. So I know it summoned the feather, but I want to make sure it actually went in the minecart. And it did. It's floating right in the center of that little piece of glass. Popping out of the top a little bit. It's floating in the center of the block the glass is sitting in. The location of that glass does not have to be perfect, thank God. Now we destroy the minecart. That did not destroy the feather, however. Our first command should do that for us when we activate the command sequence again. So now we're going to kill the minecart. And to figure out the position that the minecart is in, we would stand where the minecart is going to go the same way that we stood where the item would go. Now, it didn't kill the minecart, so sometimes you have to put it at a radius of 2 to make it kill it. And it still didn't kill the minecart. Okay. It didn't find the minecart, is what this means. So we're going to look at this coordinates closer and see what we did wrong. Oh, I'm standing at that, which means my head is at 83, not 82. If we go into here, we can change this to 83. Now if I put my glass block back and press the button, there we go. It desummoned the minecart. And you'll see actually right there it says it killed the minecart. And you'll see down at the bottom, object successfully summoned twice, and entity minecart writable. And that probably means that needs to change to 88, but I'm going to test it first because there's no point in me changing it if I did it right. I can tell from here. See that? There are multiple feathers sitting here. This would mean that they're not killing them when we tell them to. So that number is actually wrong. So we change this guy to 88. And this time, look at all that. Killed 4 feathers, summoned 2 items, and killed a writable minecart. That is promising. And we're going to need a sign when we get back up there, so let me grab one of them. And look at that. Pretty single feather sitting there. Isn't that nice? And we place a sign calling these lovely beauties sugar quills. And our first object is on display, magically floating in the air. Okay, so in this little side bit, I'm going to go over the exact way that I have those command blocks set up, as well as the display cases. I keep a notebook, Notepad++ file, a text file, with my code in it, so that I can just copy it over and over again, rather than having to relook up exactly what it does. So we start with, at the ground, is the floor, okay? Ground +1 is that stand, and I use, of course, the sea lanterns for lighting as well as a good effect. If you have additional shelves, then the blocks above them are going to be the trapdoors. Now, I understand that in 1.13, they're going to come out with different types of trapdoors, and so I actually might break my rule and go backwards and go change out all those trapdoors to something a little more aesthetically pleasing. Maybe the birch trapdoor. Anyhow, then at ground -1, this is where we have the button in front of the shelves, and then that first command block. Now, it's pointed down, set to impulse, unconditional, and needs redstone. All of them are set to unconditional. The command is the kill command, and we're sending it to an entity at a specific set of coordinates. Anytime you do at entity, at player, at anything, at and then the letter, inside this bracket you have to use actual coordinates. You can't use relative coordinates. The type of entity is the item, because that's what we're summoning. Down here you'll see we're summoning an item, okay? And we want it to do only the things in that block, so the radius is 0. If we had the radius as 1 or 2, it would also delete the things next to it. In the next row, we have the command block for the minecart. This one is pointed behind because we want the minecart to fall directly underneath it. It's a chain so that it will occur after the first one, because the first one's pointed down at it. Again, unconditional, and this time always active, because if we tell it it needs redstone, then it needs its own button or something like that. Then we're summoning. It's the summon command, and the summon command doesn't need the slash when used in a command block. We're summoning a minecart, which is a type all to itself, and we're using the relative coordinates of right here in the block I'm in. Not I the player, but I the command block. Then we're adding a custom display tile. So this could be furnace, it could be anything you want, but we're using glass, and we're offsetting it by this exact number. Now, this number can be changed. This is what I meant earlier by, thank God we don't have to get it in the exact right place. This is 101 for a minecart that's set this many blocks beneath the ground. But if you wanted to leave the minecart there so that you have the glass box around your item, then you would need to play with this number in order to get that block, that glass block sitting on top of your shelf. So you'd increase it, and it would keep offsetting it up and up and up and up. And if you don't have additional shelves, if you just have that bottom shelf and you wanted a diamond shovel encased in glass so that it's protected from the world, this is how you would do that. You can't destroy the glass without destroying the minecart. So long as the minecart's not somewhere that people can get at it, the glass can't be destroyed. Then we've got this one pointed behind, and it's pointed to this command block, still on the second level. This command block is going to point down, and it's going to be a chain, unconditional, and always active. So it's activated by this one that's pointed to it. Now we're summoning again, but this time we're summoning an item. And we're doing it with relative coordinates, same as the minecart. This means right here, relative to me, relative to me, relative to me. This means relative to me, minus 1 to the x for this grouping. And this means y plus 4 relative to me. And this means relative to me. And this item type is an ID Minecraft feather. Now these item IDs are specific to Minecraft, and I will give you the link to where I look up these item IDs, but if you'll notice, I have an item IDs text file, and I keep track of all of the item IDs that I've been using. Your count is 1. Now, if you say count 12, it puts 12 feathers out there, but it still only looks like 2 feathers, and they're perfectly lined up. If you wanted to make one feather pointed one way and then another one a little off, sort of like that where we had the 4 feathers sitting up there and they looked all funky, you have to summon them all individually. The pickup delay is set to this value specifically, means that someone would have to stand on that item for eternity in order to pick it up. So a player can't just walk over there and get their diamond shovel. The age designates how long till it despawns, and set to this exact negative number means that it will not despawn. If you had another shelf, if you'd put shelves up and you wanted to do a second item, then you go to this ground 2.1 and you'd have air for the minecart and another command block to kill the item on the second shelf, and then another command block to summon an item to the second shelf. You don't have to summon another minecart. And then you'd have dirt on this level because you don't want the minecart going beneath that. You want the minecart stopping just beneath the block where you summon the minecart. But since on this instance with only one shelf, we don't have other shelves, so we left air for the minecart there. And then we had a command block pointed down, unconditional and always active. And then we'd use the kill command again at an entity type minecart in order to kill the minecart that we summoned. Now, for whatever reason, the minecart doesn't like to do it at r equals 0. And I'm not terribly fussed by that because I don't want any minecarts left, so it gets more minecarts than what it's designed to. It's not a terribly big deal. But for whatever reason, r equals 2 is the number that I found where it always works. So that's your coding and what it means. Okay, so back down here, I am going to do the second one with you kind of slowly. We've got our positive Z going in that direction. So if we just Control A to select all, Control C to copy what we've selected, then go over here and Control V in order to paste what we copied, and then just change the Z coordinate by +1. then that one is done. We're going to copy this one, paste it over here, and because these are relative coordinates, we don't have to change the coordinates, but we do need to make sure that we set it to chain and always active. And then this one we'll copy and paste this as well. And again, relative coordinates with the tildes, so we don't have to change that. But we do want to make a different item up here. We don't want to sell just sugar quills. That wouldn't be much fun. So instead we'll do, oh, I don't know, why not a slime ball? You can get the Minecraft item IDs from the link in the description if you'd like. Relative coordinates, don't need to change. Yeah, chain, always active. Alright, and then the last one, we need to kill this minecart. So these are true coordinates, so we're going to have to change that Z coordinate to 1743 rather than 1742. And make sure we do chain, always active there. And now if we go over here and click that, it summoned 2 items and killed a minecart. So in theory it summoned, and now it killed a slime ball, summoned 2 items, and killed a minecart. So this is a good sign. If we go up here, so long as the slime ball is sitting on its tray, nice and pretty, there we go. Now, for the life of me, I could not find a magical item that was a slime ball. But there are chocolate wands for sale at Honeyduke's. So let's say that Honeyduke's proprietor stopped selling slime balls and started selling chocolate wands on that shelf. All they would have to do is come down here and go around to the back where they summon the item and change slime ball to stick. And hit done, and then go push the button, and it will change it. It killed the slime ball, successfully summoned 2 unknown items, and then killed a minecart. Theoretically, one of those summoned items was the minecart that it then killed, and the other one, lo and behold, is a chocolate wand. Now I'm going to do a quick run through of the other 3 on Fast Play. And now you've seen me click all 5 buttons to activate all 5 of our display items up here up top. And if I hop over these walls, you will see that we have sugar quills, chocolate wands, cauldrons, cauldron cakes, fizzing whizzies, fizzy. I do apologize, people. I have a speech impediment that is incredibly annoying at times, and I can't say the following word, which I also apparently can't spell. Let me look it up real quick. And finally, pumpkin pasties. And there you have it, a full display shelf. Okay, so we had all of our little objects set up there, and I hope you had fun today doing these command blocks. I do apologize for not doing all of Honeyduke at one time, but the length of this video dictates that custom heads go in its own video. I didn't want to make a 2-hour video. I don't think y'all want to watch a 2-hour video. So next time we'll be going over custom heads as used to decorate, and we'll finish up the Honeyduke Sweet Shop. See you then. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.